Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word show to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word show, SHOW, to 33777. Text show to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 3.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome this Open Line Friday to the Eric Erickson Show. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the show, that's 877-97-ERIC, E-R-I-C-K. Easy way to remember it. And you can text the word Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, all that. Now, with it being Players Championship weekend, you should text the word golf to 33777 and get you a Van Allen golf putter. Like I'm going to be playing golf. What time is it? In about 2 hours from now, I will be on one of the nicest golf courses I have ever played on in my life. Absolutely destroying that golf course. It's going to be appalling. I've gotten my handicap now. I am 23.3, which is terrible, but it's actually, according to Claude, it's not as bad as it could be. Pretty mediocre average. I can get under 100 on a good day. The wind here is blowing on Amelia Island. It's okay. We got stuff to talk about. I'll take your phone calls, 877-973-7425. Yeah, I want to bring you up to speed on some stuff because I have some information for you I think you'll find helpful. So the Pentagon is now saying that they're estimating the cost of this engagement in Iran to be $1.9 billion a day, which is about the amount of Somali fraud and Medicaid fraud in the nation. When you add it all up, if it goes on for a year, we might get to the amount of Somali fraud and Medicaid fraud that the Democrats and the illegal aliens have committed. So I'm okay with that. What I wanted during commercial break to try to source this, because there's an open source Intel account that I follow, and it has this information up, and I have gotten confirmation that this is legitimate. This is from a senior Israeli Defense Force official to put in perspective this engagement. This is what he says. The Americans don't believe we would succeed in the decapitation strike. We destroyed between 160 and 190 launchers, disabled another 200, and around 150 remain active. The missile crews are afraid to go out. There are desertions and refusals to follow orders. Every day we hunt down several launchers. We've entered a perhaps unheroic and monotonic stage of systematic destruction of command and control headquarters, military industry, and nuclear infrastructure. The Iranians have over 10,000 dead and wounded among their security forces. What is likely to follow after the war is a weakened regime, an economic blockade, diplomatic isolation, and eventually a revolution. The situation matches what we anticipated. I saw someone on Twitter say, these people were in the streets marching just a few weeks ago. Why aren't they out there now? Well, because upwards of 100,000 were killed or wounded. 30,000 is the minimum estimate, and that comes from the Iranian regime that were killed. The Israelis are right now targeting the militia members who work on behalf of the regime. You literally, if you are an Iranian citizen, can text a number with your location, and the Israeli drones will kill the militia members blocking your path. It's remarkable. It actually is remarkable. There are more and more videos of people cropping up where they are reporting the locations. The drones come by and blow up the Iranian militias. It's remarkable technology working with the people of Iran. But I want you to think about this. Did you know that there are 10,000 dead among the Iranian military? By the way, there are reports now that the Iranian army and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, which are separate entities, are at odds with each other with a growing number of desertions. The army is where the regular Iranians go. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps is where the true believers in the regime go. If you're roped into military for the Iranian regime, you go to the army. Unless you are a real true believer in the Ayatollah, then you go to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. They're the ones in charge. The Ayatollah is in name only right now. He's all but dead in a coma. All of the statements that are coming out in his name are coming from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. We are destabilizing the regime. People want entertainment. I think we've entertained ourselves out of being able to appreciate what's going on. When you watch a movie, war is a spectacular thing. Here it's just monotonous. It is daily bombings. It is daily dropping missiles. It is daily defense against the Iranian drones. It is daily detection of where those drones are taking off from and then targeting those locations. It's kind of boring unless you're the pilots. It's not exciting. It's not fundamentally transforming Iran on an immediate basis. We lack the capacity for patience as a people because our attention spans have been eroded. And yet it's working. It's working pretty significantly. It's working pretty nonstop. U.S. defense officials are now confirming to Fox News the Pentagon is sending the USS Tripoli, a Marine Amphibious Ready Group, and the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit to the Middle East. The Tripoli is stationed out of Japan. It'll take 2 weeks to get to the Middle East, accompanied by 2,500 Marines. The president suggests we're not going to have troops on the ground, but we may have them in the region to assist others on the ground. It's actually, I think, a damning indictment on we, the people of the United States, that we can do this and expect an overnight miracle and an overnight change and an overnight collapse of a regime that has spent 49 years trying to figure out how to survive if we attack it. It's going to be on the Iranian people. Why haven't they taken to the streets yet? The regime needs to be softened up and the people need to be armed, and that's happening on both counts. Patience. Patience is required. It does get monotonous. We have taken out 15,000 targets in 13 days, combined between us and the Israelis. And it's just us and the Israelis. It's nobody else. It's just us and the Israelis. The European powers have not engaged. Our Asian allies have not engaged. They're helping with defense. The European allies are. They're helping shoot down the drones and the missiles that head towards allied nations. But this is going to take some time. The president, when this first started, said it would take 4 to 5 weeks. The president, I think, has kind of been his own worst enemy in some of this, saying it'll be done when I want it to be done. Brian Kilmeade interviewed the president this morning. The president says he'll know when it's done when he feels it in his bones. I don't know what that means. He's 80. He might confuse arthritis with victory. But, kudos to the president for being nebulous. I think he's got to be nebulous. Why would we want to broadcast? Well, we think it's going to be done in 3 weeks. Here are the 3 things that we need to accomplish. And if we take out these targets, the Iranians are like, and then they rearrange their forces so that we can't do those 3 things. And we got to keep the war going. I mean, why would the president broadcast it? Kudos to Brian Kilmeade for asking the question of the president, but also kudos to the president for saying, when I feel it in my bones, as opposed to, well, when these 3 things happen strategically, we're deploying forces right now to make them. We don't want to broadcast that. We don't need to know that. You'll have the people at CNN making sure they telegraph it to the Iranian regime. Hey, guys, if you will move some positions in this place to be able to hide from the American bombing campaign, we'll be able to get some great footage to show exclusively on CNN. Why would we want to help them do that? When I feel it in my bones. So I got to tell you, you know my issues with him, and we don't always see eye to eye, and I'm perfectly happy to criticize him, but I don't know, these old man expressions sometimes, when I feel it in my bones. It's like my grandmother. One of my favorite expressions of all time is my grandmother referring to someone who woke up dead. You woke up dead. I use that expression. My kids are like, Dad, if you're dead, you don't wake up. My grandmother used that phrase. I knew exactly what she meant. Someone died in their sleep. They woke up dead. You found them dead the next morning. The president, when I feel it in my bones, we're going to know. Is that the Cialis that kicked in, or is that victory? I'm sorry. I just want a turn of a phrase by the president. V for victory and Viagra. Why would we want to telegraph it, though? I mean, it's like the American, part of this is they were so used to the Biden regime and the Obama regime telegraphing everything. Remember, I mean, it was the Obama regime and the Biden regime that said, hey, I don't want anybody to know this, but in 24 hours, this is where we're going to bomb the Iranians. Shh, don't tell them. Don't tell. Oh, what? We're live? Oh, well, don't tell them. That was kind of the strategy of Biden and Obama. And the Iranian regime would go out there and they would move their missile launchers out of the area. We would drop a bomb. Like, we sure showed those Iranians. And then they'd lob a missile into a parking lot in Israel, and it was a tit for tat. And we'd say, okay, we got them, and they got us, and now we're done. And instead, here comes Trump, and he's like, nope, we're going to blow the snot out of them, blow them back to kingdom come. In fact, we're going to bomb them forward into the Stone Age. And I will know when we've done, when I feel it in my bones. And here come the Israelis, and they say, we've killed over 10,000, killed or wounded over 10,000 members of the Iranian forces. We've decapitated their leadership. We're targeting their missile launchers. We're getting so accurate that the missile launchers we haven't gotten rid of, the soldiers are too scared to go fire them because they're afraid of getting blown up when they try to fire them. We continue to find them on a daily basis. We're wiping out their capacity to wage war, and eventually revolution will come when the people are able to get into the streets. And by the way, at night, the Iranian citizens can text us where the positions of the militia are, and we go blow them up too. What's not to like about killing a terroristic jihadist regime? People's patience has run out after 13 days. Can you imagine if we did D-Day today? We'd be 48 hours in, massive workouts. Well, we got to surrender to Hitler. We didn't march all the way to Berlin in 48 hours after this. Look at all the dead. We got to surrender. Or the Battle of Midway or the Pacific Theater after Germany surrendered. Can you imagine the way the American press corps would respond today? Well, he grew up a tragic figure, a failed painter, rejected and laughed at. But now he's the leader of the Third Reich and a vegetarian. You can see the news coverage of something like that for covering Adolf Hitler these days. It's just deeply, deeply anti-American, in large part because it's Donald Trump in charge. I don't think Pete Hegseth actually helps. I think Pete Hegseth's press conferences, he's needlessly combative with the press, and I got problems with the press. But he's the Secretary of Defense. He should not have weighed in today as he did on the press conference that he can't wait for CBS to take over CNN because he's upset with CNN's coverage. He may be, but there's no reason to do that because now all day the news coverage is going to be about you attacking the media as opposed to attacking the Iranians, and you get better favorable coverages when it's about attacking the Iranians. There's no need for that. Concurrently, yeah, the press is absolutely hostile. The press, they're anti-war. David Harsanyi at the Washington Examiner has this piece. Only a few months ago, Groyper cult leader and podcaster Tucker Carlson predicted that Iran's fearsome arsenal of ballistic missiles would easily kill thousands of Americans in the first week of conflict. Carlson predicted that the global bloc called BRICS, which represents the majority of the world's landmass, would come to the aid of Iran and the conflict could become a world war. None of that happened. The American public has been subjected to a campaign of demoralization, historical illiteracy, and lies. We're less than 2 weeks into Operation Epic Fury, and the average American might be under the impression that it's a disaster. It's not. We've killed way more of them than they have of us. Some of our guys died in a tragic plane crash yesterday. They were not shot down. We're making remarkable success. All we got to do is be patient. Patience. That's what we need. Our competent, advanced military is waging a war against a ruthless terrorist regime that wants to bring about the apocalypse. We should be rooting for our military. It's an open line Friday. Let's go to the phones. Tom, you're going to be up next on the Eric Erickson Show. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Thanks, Eric. Hit 'em straight today.
Doing well. Thank you.
The comment about mental health for the progressives versus churchgoers falls right in line with the progressive agenda against masculinity, against marriages, that this is a feature. It's not a bug. This is by design of those that set the progressive agenda to get those true believers more reliant on government and less reliant on themselves, which is what America was built on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for example, just there, I meant to talk about the story when it happened earlier this week. Tom, there was a story in Los Angeles where a teacher who's a prominent activist was blasting parents for being concerned that their elementary school kids were struggling in reading and writing, and said that the purpose of elementary school is not to educate your kids, it's to socialize the children. Literally, this is what this activist teacher said, that it's not to educate your kids, it's to socialize your kids, essentially to indoctrinate your kids. And we've got an entire system set up in this country that is taxpayer funded, that is designed to breed addiction and dependency on the government and undermine our individualism. And in fact, the rugged individualism that the country founded on is treated as a pejorative by the left these days. They don't like your independence. They want you to be addicted. It's why Common Core, I think, is so disastrous in public schools and in some private schools, because why? Your parents can no longer help you with your math homework. You got to rely on the school. It's teaching your children they got to rely on bureaucrats instead of family and themselves. It's deeply, deeply disastrous long term for us to go down this road of getting people dependent on not just the government, but on technocrats and bureaucrats instead of ourselves and our family. One of the reasons Old Glory Bank started was to fight back on the debanking trends that the left was also engaged in, as they wanted you to be hobbled by the government line. They were getting banks to shut down conservative activists, conservative businesses, right-coded businesses like gun manufacturers and gun stores and the like. Old Glory Bank decided we need to get going so we can fight back against these trends. You can get an account with Old Glory Bank at oldglorybank.com/Eric. They're one of the fastest growing banks in the country. They're about to be publicly traded on NASDAQ. oldglorybank.com/ERICK. If you're a veteran, you're active duty, you're a first responder, they really take care of you. They'll waive some fees for you if you're active duty military on their premium accounts. And they're helping get homeless veterans around the country checking accounts set up with a great nonprofit out there that helps homeless veterans get back on their feet. They are a full-service bank, though they're an online bank. They do CDs, they do mortgages, they do business accounts. If you're a business, they're great to bank with. They're very hands-on getting to know you. oldglorybank.com/Eric. oldglorybank.com/ERICK. I have a checking and a savings account with them. You can too. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply. Hello, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. It's an open line Friday. Before I get back to the phones, I see them. Let me just ask you a hypothetical. I had a criminal law professor in law school, Shand Watson, and he was Scottish, and we would do wee hypos. Let's do a wee hypo. Hypothetically speaking, have an elected official, I don't know, let's say mayor, New York. And the mayor of New York, his wife, does the illustrations for a book by an author that believes black people are not fully human and who has celebrated the lynchings of black people. Wasn't the mayor's wife didn't say that herself. She just did work for an author who believes that black people aren't fully human and has celebrated the lynching of black people. And what if the mayor's wife on social media had liked posts on Instagram and elsewhere that celebrated the lynching of black people, celebrated killing them, and liked posts that degraded what it meant to be black? And the response of the mayor of New York is that his wife is a private citizen. What do you think the media reaction would be? Just come on, people. Just work with me here. This is just a hypothetical. The mayor of New York's wife did illustrations for the book of a woman who believes black people are not real humans and who has celebrated the lynchings of black people. What do you think the reaction would be? What do you think the reaction would be if the wife of the mayor of New York had liked Instagram posts that celebrated the lynching of black people and said it was about the experience of the community? That's what she was liking, just the experience of the global community. And he just said that she was a private citizen. Do you really think the media would buy that? Do you really think the media would ignore that? Because the mayor of New York, Zoran Mandani, his wife, did the illustrations for a book for a woman who believes that Jews are vile creatures who deserve what they get, who has celebrated the October 7th attacks. And the mayor's wife herself has actually liked photos on Instagram celebrating the October 7th attack. The New York Times called it the Palestinian. She supported the Palestinian cause. What she was actually supporting was Hamas murdering Jews on October 7th. Is it notable to you that the media is willing to say, well, she's a private person? Now, never mind, there's a profile in New York Magazine that she's one of the mayor's close advisors and have played an active role in the campaign. Never mind that. Never mind. She's a private person. If she had the same position on black people that she has on Jews, do you think the American press would give her a pass? Of course not. Of course not. Yet here they will, because it's Jews. They will give her a pass, and they will give the mayor of New York a pass. When Donald Trump has Christian pastors into the White House, very often there are pieces in the mainstream media, not just progressive rags, but the places that still pretend not to be progressive but are, that lament the rise of Christian nationalism on the right. Zoran Mandani had at Gracie Mansion a group of Islamic activists for Ramadan. They all sat around the floor on pillows. Where is the think piece in the New York Times about the rise of Islamic nationalism in the United States? It's not there. These people continue in perpetuity to protect the jihadists and their sympathizers, the Islamic radicals and their sympathizers, and the people who hate this country and hate Jews. Many of that embodied within the mayor and his wife in New York City. They get a complete pass on this by the press corps. And interestingly enough, there's a good contingent of the press that is Jewish. Many of them very progressive. They are ethnically Jewish, but they don't care about that issue. They care about progressivism. And progressivism, you hate the Jews because in the woke progressive ideology of intersectionalism, the Jews, though it is their native territory going back 7,000 plus years, they're considered the colonizers from Europe, when actually it was the Romans who colonized the Jewish territory and threw them out and brought in the Palestinians and renamed the territory Palestine. But who cares about history when you view everything in a victimizer framing? Because the Jews are wealthy, successful, they've got it together technologically and democratically, they are presumed to be the oppressors. Do you notice how in left-wing ideology, it's always the Kraplakistans of the world that are the poor people who have the moral authority, and it's always the successful people who are the oppressors? Maybe it's not that they're oppressors, maybe it's just they got their act together. Joy Reid was on some podcast the other day and said essentially Congo would be Wakanda if it hadn't been for white colonizers. No, they would not. In fact, for all the people who are upset about the colonizers and colonialization is actually a good thing that brought civilization to a lot of people who would otherwise, we would today refer to them as savage or primitive. It was the Central American tribes that rose up and joined the Spanish against the Aztec because of human sacrifice. Did you know that prior to the rise of Christianity, the concept of a hospital didn't exist? The concept of adoption and adoption centers and orphanages did not exist. The orphanage did not exist before the rise of Christianity. Human rights did not exist in the way they exist in modern times before the rise of Christianity. And these people want you to believe that these values are all colonizer values when the colonizers actually brought civilization to a bunch of primitive people who were committing child sacrifice. They would prefer to go back to that. And today they just call it abortion. The press will give these people a pass because they're all the enemies of modern Western civilization. Now, to the phones we go. I want to go to Tom. You're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm doing just lovely. How about yourself?
I'm great. What's going on?
Well, I don't realize that the Democrats are setting this up for us. We keep complaining about them releasing criminals and them reoccurring and killing people afterwards. And what they've done is they've kind of set a precedent now following the Old Dominion deal that now when you restrain someone, just make sure you restrain them to death. And we won't have to worry about them not being rehabilitated and going on and killing again.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, I got to tell you, I don't know if you heard the FBI agent in charge last night over the ROTC situation referred to the ROTC students who set upon the Islamic attacker that they rendered him unalive.
Yes, it was really fun, and she did it deadpan too.
Yes.
Her face was actually better than the word.
Yeah, I like that. Rendered him unalive. You mean they killed him? It really is wild. And by the way, now I've been told this by a couple of people in Virginia government that the FBI is emphasizing the students basically beat the hell out of this ISIS agent and killed him when he was actually stabbed to death because they're actually afraid the progressive prosecutor is a Soros-funded prosecutor, that the prosecutor might actually try to prosecute the students who stabbed the guy to death.
I heard that too, and that's just sick.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, I mean, the Democratic rhetoric, everybody's embracing this sort of stuff. Look, I appreciate the point in the phone call. The people are just out there, and we got to avoid. It's like, I have to catch myself. Sometimes I say I feel instead of I think. We got to catch ourselves. It's very pernicious because the media starts regurgitating the stuff. We hear it all the time, and it just gets in our heads. All right, Saeed, I want to go to you next. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Hello, Eric. It's good to talk to you.
You too.
Listen, I was born in Iran, 1979. When I came out of the Iran was a beautiful place. People have to understand that we were just like any other European country. The freedom was there. I remember that we got free breakfast every day in the morning by the government. That was for all the kids in Iran. And the only way that Ayatollah got his word out was BBC and Voice of America.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the reasons that the people of Iran, they think that the U.S. was behind it. Later on, we found out there was more a Democrat, which was Carter at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they did what they did, and they're broadcasting day and night what Ayatollah said. What do you want us to do?
It's funny you should say this because it came out yesterday. Someone pointed out that the French flew the Ayatollah back to Iran on an Air France flight and that the French were to blame. And it was actually someone pointed out the French president at the time called Jimmy Carter and said, you do not want this guy to take power in Iran, and Jimmy Carter let him do it anyway. We're dealing with the foreign policy effects of Jimmy Carter, who is lauded by a saint by the American media, and was actually, I think, the Simpsons called him history's greatest monster, and well, not quite true. I mean, we're cleaning up all of Jimmy Carter's messes to this day.
Yes, absolutely. And I have to say, thanks, President Trump. I think God bless him. He's the best president ever.
Yeah, listen to that, people, from someone who is from Iran, that calling Donald Trump the best president ever. That speaks volumes about how you see the situation. Now, let me ask you this question. If the regime were to fall, would you want to move back?
Absolutely. Not that America is bad. It's just we would like to be around our family, which is back home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, doesn't that say something
and we would like to go back and start building Iran like how it was before. It was prosperous and it was educated people. It was funny that at the time when brought Ayatollah in Iran, everybody in Iran, they thought that mullahs, which they're Ayatollahs, they are the bottom of the society. They were uneducated. They were extremists. Nobody even cared about them. And they brought them in here in Iran and they put them on the top of the government. That was the biggest mistake. It reminds me of the trading. What was that movie with Eddie Murphy? The Trading Places.
Trading Places, yes. Yeah, Trading Places.
You remember that one?
Oh, yes.
It's just bringing somebody from nowhere and they put him on the top of the whole thing. And they're in the movie, he did a great job. But in Iran, they ruined Iran.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate your perspective very much. I want every American listening to this program right now. This is an Iranian refugee who says Donald Trump is the greatest president ever and Jimmy Carter is one of the worst. And you may disagree with that assessment, but this is someone whose family had to flee Iran, who understands the situation there better than most of us because of what his family went through. And we are, again, in fact, so much of what Donald Trump is doing right now as president is cleaning up the messes that Jimmy Carter made. Leonardo in West Palm Beach, Florida, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Eric. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure. It's a real, be in your program.
Thank you so much.
I'm Cuban. I was born in Cuba. I was raised in Spain. Now an American 100%. So,
nice.
A couple of things there. I mean, you're going to have a lot of immigrants today in your show. I love it. It's so mixed. What happened is, like, our time is coming too, all right, in Cuba. Mm-hmm. I mean, It will take time to process, but I know it's coming. Thank you to Mr. President for all what he's done. Now, my question to you is a little more specific.
Okay.
All of the syndicated show hosts in the nation, you will be the only one to probably be the most accurate because you know the area. I mean, nobody like you know the area because you always talk about it.
Thank you.
My question to you is why Iran has so much power in the Strait of Hormuz? I know they are like part of the thing. Is that like Panama? I mean, they own the right. But these guys, what is so special about them? They can control so much that piece of land.
I'm so glad you asked the question. I actually know the answer to it, and every one of you can follow along here. And Leonardo, I'm going to drop your call now and let you listen to me on the radio so I can jump to commercial break here. But if you get out Google Maps or Apple Maps and put it on satellite view, what you see on the south end of the Strait of Hormuz is the Arabian Peninsula juts out with Qatar, or not with Qatar, with Oman. And you've got the Malcolm Inlet, and you've got the Ras Gabar al-Hindi, and you see these islands that jut out, and it's very shallow sea there. The deepest part of the Strait of Hormuz is towards Iran and Larak Island. All of that territory is fortified by Iran. All of that is Iranian territory. So for ships to go through the Straits of Hormuz, they have to veer towards Iran because of the shallow, rocky waters where the Arabian Peninsula juts out of it. And Iran has militarized all of those islands and its coast around there to make it easy to fire rockets that can move faster than the ships. We've been bombing that whole area, but they've got a lot of speedboats out there that they've invested in that are harder to track and neutralize. But that's what we're doing right now, is we are blowing up their capacity there, essentially carpet bombing the region where they got all these small naval speedboats and rocket launchers to be able to neutralize their capacity. They're also laying mines in that area. You can't go further south because you get upon the rocks and in the shallow waters of the Strait of Hormuz. You got to go closer towards Iran, and that's we're wiping out their capacity there. It's going to take some time to be able to do. We can't do it overnight, but we certainly do know how to do it. Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. Glad to have you with me. Well, it's too late, isn't it? It's too late. We're almost at the end of the show. I got to play this. Kyle Porter from Normal Sport just got this audio of Jordan Spieth at the Players Championship.
Final question. Later today, will you be able to think mostly about the good stuff and sort of set the finish?
Never. Have you ever played golf?
Yeah, absolutely right. Nope, you can never, ever do it. I'm excited to be over there tomorrow, and those of you in Jacksonville, ran into some of you last night. You'll see me around Amelia Island, I'm sure. Looking forward to hanging out with you guys this weekend at the Players Championship. What a great opportunity. And thanks to WOKV for hosting me today and Monday. Now I got to tell you about Rinnai, my tankless water heater. Y'all, yes, I am effusive with praise for this company. Why? Because I got 2 teenagers, and you know in your house, if you have teenagers, how often they fight over showers and hot water and the like, and we don't do that in our house. Why? Because I got a tankless water heater from Rinnai. We yanked our tank, and we got the Rinnai tankless water heater in our existing house. Didn't have to buy a new house, just got rid of the current tanks and put in the tankless from Rinnai. Fantastic people. I got to get up to Griffin, Georgia, near my house to be able to see them and tour their facility up there. Go to talkingtankless.com. You can talk to a Rinnai professional today. They are reasonably priced tankless water heaters about the size of a small carry-on bag, and the water flows through them. The gas comes on when the water flows, and as long as you've got natural gas or propane, we got propane, you may have natural gas, it's going to heat the water, and you're going to have hot water forever. Unlike your tank that eventually is going to run cold, and you don't have to pay to keep it heated all the time either, like with the tank. Yank your tank. Go to talkingtankless.com. Our utility bill went down after we did. Talkingtankless.com. Talk to Rinnai.